Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
There are 145,000 EU nationals in our NHS working in all aspects of care. But post-Brexit, will they be allowed to stay and work here much longer? Well, this programme has exclusively learned that those employing, commissioning and representing our European workforce have formed a coalition to fight for them to stay in the NHS in England indefinitely. Our health and social care correspondent Victoria MacDonald went to the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham to talk to EU medics about their concerns.
The day after the UK voted to exit the European Union, the bosses here at Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham felt compelled to send an email telling the EU staff that they were valued. And when we spoke to some of those staff, it was clear that they'd needed that reassurance. There was the doctor from the Netherlands, a nurse who arrived just 18 months ago from Portugal, and another nurse also from the Netherlands.
Yes, I have had anecdotal sort of comments from people saying, make sure you make an apple pie before you leave the country, and are they going to allow you to stay? And also one comment from somebody who'd voted leave, and when I asked what was the main reason why they voted leave, they said, oh, well, the immigrants. And I said, well, I am an immigrant. And she went, no, I don't mean you.
I woke up to some texts of friends saying, oh my God, Brexit. And I just couldn't believe it. And I actually felt really, really upset and hurt, because for me, Brexit has changed something. Life is going on as normal, and I'm still doing my job, and I still see my long-term future here. But there's just that feeling that something has changed, and that actually maybe I'm not wanted here.
I've noticed when talking to some of my friends back in Portugal, some of them were thinking about coming to the UK, and now they've taken a step back and they are assessing the situation. They want to wait maybe until the end of the year to see how things start to evolve before they commit to a job here, because obviously it's a changing situation.
About 3% of the staff at this trust are from the EU. That's below the national average, but they are still recruiting, including nurses from Italy.
We do need a steer, I think, as soon as we can, really, from the government as to what their intention is regarding EU nurses being able to work in the UK. Not least because we don't want people to leave on the build-up to us exiting because they're unsure of the future. We really don't want that.
Wandering around the hospital today, it is clear that there is massive uncertainty post-Brexit. Right from the trust management down, they all want to know how they're going to keep the EU staff who are already here, and how they're going to recruit those that they'll need in the future. The NHS featured large in the referendum, big numbers on the side of buses, though there's no sign of that money yet. And today the Prime Minister said she will not give a running commentary on Brexit talks. But in the UK's health services, there is a sense of urgency. And now Channel 4 News has learned that tomorrow a coalition of 29 health and social care organisations will call on the government to introduce indefinite leave to remain visas for the 145,000 staff currently here.
And people are thinking about what their future might bring. They are thinking about whether they need to look elsewhere in Europe or elsewhere in the world for employment. And we do believe there is some urgency in giving them certainty and letting them know that the UK not just values their contribution, but wants their contribution to be part of our services in the longer term.
And the coalition will also give evidence to the cross-party post-Brexit inquiry into how the Health and Social Care Service can still attract those with the skills so badly needed. In Lincolnshire, a pilot supported by NHS England is already underway to lure GPs across from Europe. They need 75 in this area alone. And again, it's being done with a degree of urgency to have them embedded before we exit.
In some respects, Brexit's a good thing for this pilot because it's going to prompt people who are good quality to move now whilst they've got the chance to come. Because in 2, 3, 4 years' time, they're not necessarily going to be able to move so easily.
The new GPs will be supported in their move here, help with housing, schools for their families, ongoing education, lessons even, and how the NHS works.
We want to make sure they're happy here, then they're comfortable here and they stay for a long time, which will mean that our investment in recruitment is worthwhile.
But back here in Nottingham, our consultant paediatrician raises another issue for the health service. This isn't just about highly qualified doctors and nurses coming here.
People keep telling me, oh no, it will be fine and we won't kick you out. But again, that feels wrong. It shouldn't be just because I'm a consultant in critical care, I can stay. Other people from Europe bring just as much contribution. A lot of our cleaners and support staff are from Europe, and I can't do my job without them.
Who can come? Who can stay? What qualifications they'll need? What skills we need in the health service? It will, it's assumed, be resolved eventually. But for the bosses and those already here, the sooner they know, the better they'll feel.
Victoria MacDonald with that exclusive report. Well, at Westminster, the Prime Minister came under sustained pressure by MPs to explain her vision of how Brexit would work in practice. Theresa May stuck to the line that the UK wouldn't reveal its hand prematurely. Meanwhile, Labour's resources have revealed for the first time that Jeremy Corbyn does not support automatic membership of the single market. Well, our political editor Gary Gibbon is in Westminster. Gary, so Theresa May was playing a rather cautious and safe game, was she?
Yes, not a very interesting one. You might have expected the first statement by a new Prime Minister on the seismic issue of Brexit to pack the House, electricity in the air, nothing of the sort. MPs started disappearing as soon as she got up, and by the end the whole thing looked a bit like a last doings of a county cricket game. I counted at the end just 5 Tory backbench MPs had stayed in till the end of her statement, because when Theresa May, will get used to this with her as Prime Minister, when she doesn't want to say much, boy, can she tighten her lips. And she really didn't say much over a sustained period. The questions that were mainly being bowled about her, yes, she was under pressure from questioning, were about, you've told us on immigration, you've got a red line, you want to control immigration as part of the Brexit deal. Give us a red line on trade. Do you want us to remain in the single market? And time after time, she wouldn't go near it. Here's a flavour of the stonewalling.
We will not provide a running commentary on every twist and turn of the negotiation. We want to get the right deal for the United Kingdom, and if we were to give a constant running commentary and give away our negotiating hand, then that would not be what we would achieve. People ask me a question, I give an answer. If they ask the same question, I will get the same answer.
Well, at least Jeremy Corbyn stayed to listen to her. Did he give her a hard time?
He didn't even bring up the matter at Prime Minister's questions, which came just beforehand. And when it came to his turn to challenge her about the Brexit and G20 stuff, he didn't support her line, which was evangelising for free trade. He didn't outspokenly support the single market, which so many of his own MPs had. And we got a flavour of exactly why when there was a briefing from his people just after the statement finished, and they said, well, he doesn't think much of the single market. He thinks it's too pro-free market, doesn't support state intervention. Just when you thought he couldn't anger his own MPs anymore, Jeremy Corbyn's brought it off.
Gary, thanks very much.
I've been getting away with it all